Hey, what's up, everybody? True Boxing here. Thank you for coming back to Get Hit with the Truth. So today we are doing the Barrios versus Ramos breakdown and prediction video as reigning WBC welterweight champion of the world at 147 pounds. Mario Barrios is set to make the first official defense of his title reign when he battles former world title challenger Abel Ramos, as they will compete on the November 15th Netflix card that's taking place on a Friday night that's headlined by Mike Tyson and Jake Paul and that big kind of special attraction fight. This is on the undercard for the welterweight title. Now, before we get into that, if you could smash the like button, leave a comment, or subscribe to the channel, I really do appreciate any and all support that I can get as I continue to build my channel here. So this fight, you know, I'm really looking forward to it. If I didn't think this was a good, significant fight, I wouldn't be doing a breakdown video on it. But I do think it's a good, significant fight. Mario Barrios has made his claim, you know, and Abel Ramos has been around for a while, and it's on a big card. So, you know, I really do take that serious. Now, if you haven't seen my my breakdown videos before, basically in a title fight like this, well, first we'll discuss the fight itself, what it means, what's at stake. Then we'll get into each fighter, and in a title fight, you start with the champion, and then I move over to the challenger. I ask the same questions. At the end, I ask another question, and then I give my final prediction. So these are my most viewed and most popular videos, the breakdown videos. So let's jump into it and see this fight right here and what it means. So you have Barrios coming in. You know, he's the reigning welterweight champ, WBC champ. Wanted to stake his claim. He kind of, you know, threw his name into the serious mix last year when he beat Yordenis Ugas, taking on a very game veteran Abel Ramos, who's been there and fought for titles before and wants to claim his first title. So a lot at stake here, and this style clash is a good one. It really is. It's a good all-Mexican style clash right here, and I really, really like this matchup. I do. So going in, let's jump straight into, you know, and unification could be at stake for the winner, especially against Imantas Stanionis, who's the WBA champ and also with the PBC. We know Boots wants to unify belts with somebody before moving up to 154. So we got to wait and see. But I'm really looking forward to this fight. Now, let's start with the champion, the reigning champ, Mario Barrios. And what we do is we look at the last three fights. His last three fights date back to February of last year, 2023. I think it was last year when he took on, it was last year, Giovanni Santiago, and stopped him in 8 rounds. He was coming back off of a year-long layoff when he had lost to Keith Thurman and really got dominated in that fight. And then last September, he fought for the interim title against Yordenis Ugas, came in the underdog. It was on a Canelo undercard, and he surprised a lot of people by dominating Ugas over 12 rounds and securing a convincing unanimous decision and becoming the interim champ. Then he put his interim title on the line on another Canelo undercard earlier this year against Munguia. He took on Marcos Maidana's little brother, Fabian Maidana. Kind of an underwhelming performance, especially on a big card. Didn't look fantastic, but he got the win by unanimous decision. Then shortly after that, he was upgraded. In August, he was upgraded to full WBC champion. And there was talks about a potential Manny Pacquiao clash happening later in the year. A lot of people wanted to see unification with Stanionis. Instead, he's landed on a major card, and he's taken on Abel Ramos. So really, things looking up for Barrios. He has a lot to be excited about. He's hungry. He's the younger and bigger fighter here, and that should play into an advantage for him. You know, the physical and the youth. He's 4 years younger, hasn't been in the same kind of wars that Ramos has. You know, he's lost a couple fights, but he's hungry. He's motivated. He's now the full champion. He has something to prove, and he's fighting on a big card. So I think he's coming in pretty motivated, ready to rock and roll. He's got a 2-inch reach and a 3-inch height advantage here, and he's got 4 years in terms of age difference. So I think he's coming in hungry, ready to go. Now, what does he need to do to win this fight? I think he needs to avoid an all-out war. I think he needs to use his height and reach advantage to an advantage in the first half of the fight, and simply break down the veteran Abel Ramos. I think if he does that, because he's the bigger guy, he's a stronger guy in my opinion, I think it could lead to success. But don't go into a dogfight against a smaller guy who wants a dogfight. I mean, let's be real. Abel Ramos is a crafty dude, and he wants a dogfight with Barrios. So don't make it a dogfight. Come in, fight smart. You know, not pure box, but go in there and mix it up and be the bigger guy. You know, be the bigger guy. That's what I think he needs to do to win the fight. Now, can Mario Barrios win this fight by knockout? I think he can. I think Barrios has the punching power to land a big shot out of nowhere and then also break down a guy like Ramos. So I think so. Can he win a decision? Yeah. I mean, if it goes to the scorecards, I think it's going to be somewhat close because both these guys in their styles, they throw punches. They got that heart of a warrior type, you know, attitude going in. And I think they definitely will throw enough punches to make this a clean, a close fight. So what's more likely if Barrios wins this fight and retains his belt? Is it more likely that he'll win by a knockout or a decision? You know, surprisingly, I'm going to say a decision because Abel Ramos has a good chin and Mario Barrios isn't the overwhelming power puncher overall, but he is a solid power shot guy. So I do think a knockout's possible. I just think it's more likely that if Barrios wins, it's by a decision, but it's close, you know. Now, what does a win mean for Mario Barrios? It means a lot. You know, it keeps him rolling in the direction he wants to go in because we know the Manny Pacquiao stuff is still on the table. Unification's there with either Boots or Stanionis. I mean, Barrios, you know, has really a lot going for him. And if he can kind of make a big statement at 147, you never know. He can throw himself into the mix at 154 that is just fucking stacked. And if he starts with a win here against Ramos and he has a good 2025, this dude could be rolling towards the end of 25 into 26 as a player at 154 and landing bigger fights. So a lot riding on this fight, and a win means a lot for Barrios. Now, what does a loss mean for Mario Barrios? Depends on how he loses, but any kind of loss, I think, really derails him big because he's the favorite. You know, people enjoyed what he did against Ugas and, you know, last year. And I think they want to see him capitalize on that and show that kind of heart and spirit and passion and continue to move forward. Being the younger, bigger guy, he makes for more entertaining fights. With Ramos, you know, we kind of already know he's kind of been there, done that. With Barrios, we're like, well, maybe he was just too young and weight drained for Tank Davis. Maybe Keith Thurman was just a bad matchup. And now he's really focused and good to go. So I think that plays a lot into it, and a loss would really hurt Barrios right now. So now let's switch over to the challenger, the former world title challenger, Abel Ramos, the veteran, 33 years old. Again, he's given up 4 years in age. He's given up 3 inches in height and 2 inches in reach. Coming into this big card, and I think he's hungry too. I really do. You know, I think he's very hungry. I think he wants to win this fight against Mario Barrios and become a world champion for his first time. He's getting a big opportunity. His last 3 fights date back to there actually been 3 calendar year type fights. It's actually 2 losses. He fought was it Luke Santa Maria and lost the unanimous decision back in I believe that was in 2022. And then he returned in 23, and in a fight where he was a big underdog going in against Cody Crowley, he fought his ass off. It ended up being a majority decision win for Cody Crowley, but Ramos let everybody know, I'm still here and I'm still a player, you know. And then he fought earlier this year and got a knockout win over some unknown fighter. And now he's getting a world title shot. So big opportunity for him right here that he needs to cash in on at 33. He needs to cash in, but I do think he's hungry and motivated. He knows he's the B-side, but he's used to it. So he's really coming in kind of with that nothing to lose mentality, and that's good. That's what he needs. Now, what does Ramos need to do to win this fight? I think he needs to try to mix it up and make it a dogfight, but not get caught with something clean. You know, make sure he's got the stamina to go into the second half and really work the body. If I was him, I'd work the body of Mario Barrios. Mario Barrios has faded in fights before. And I think if he works the body on the younger Barrios and makes it a body attack and not an all-out war, just a body attack and land his shots, because he's going to be open to land shots. break him down from the body to negate the youth and maybe the speed advantage for Barrios, but work the body, then work his way up, wear him down, get into the second half. And if he's the guy with the more stamina, it could go his way. So that's what I think he needs to do to win this fight. Can Ramos win the fight by knockout? Yeah, I mean, Ramos is not a huge power puncher, but I think more of an accumulation of punches, a breakdown type performance where he, takes him into the deep waters and drowns him. I think he can win by a knockout. Can Ramos win a decision over Barrios? And I think he can. I think he could outwork Barrios potentially and win a decision. I think it's going to be close if it goes to the scorecards, but I think he can win a decision. What is more likely for Ramos if he beats Mario Barrios and becomes the new WBC champion? Is it knockout or a decision? I think a decision. I think these two guys both have good chins. They're not overwhelming power punchers. And I think I can see a decision here. But, yeah, I think it's more likely for a decision. But I also think Ramos could stop Mario Barrios. So what does a win mean for Abel Ramos? It's the biggest of his career. This is the one. It's on a huge card. I mean, a lot of people are going to have their eyes on this fight and this card itself. So a win here, it hands him his first world title on a major card. He becomes a serious player just like that. He's a serious contender to be dealt with, but he becomes a serious player at 147 and can set up more bigger fights, which is what he wants. So, that's big if he pulls out the win. Now, what does a loss mean for Ramos? It would depend on how he loses, because right now he's kind of looked at as somewhat of a gatekeeper at 147. A veteran, 28-6, been there. I'm going to go choose this guy so I can build my resume. That's what he's kind of viewed right now. And if he loses again convincingly, he's just going to continue to be in that role. But a strong performance, if he loses a close one, he's still a player. He's still considered to be a serious contender that could potentially get another title shot and become a world champion, that he's right there. So it depends on how he loses. I think he's coming in with he's got nothing to lose mentality, which is good because that's what you need sometimes to win, especially when you're a big underdog. But a devastating loss, a knockout loss, a one-sided loss definitely hurts him and pushes him back away from world title type contention, So now, final thing I got to ask is it better for boxing if Mario Barrios wins this fight or Abel Ramos? For me, that's simple. It's better for boxing if Mario Barrios wins. He's younger, he's bigger, and people want to see the younger, bigger guys. When when you see a guy with a 28-6-2 record, automatically you're like, this guy's not that good. That's just an automatic thing. Me as a hardcore boxing fan, I know better than that, but there's a lot of people that don't. And a lot of people are going to look at Ramos like, nah, this guy's and there's a lot to that. I always talk about the mystique, the mystery behind a guy and how good he really is. And if you continue to build on that, once you get into a big fight, like say against Boots or Stanionis, you'll get the true definition. But if you lose one of these fights, it takes away all that allure. It takes away all that mystique right there. And so that's why it's better for the younger, bigger, potentially more entertaining fighter. I think they're both pretty entertaining guys, but Barrios is not. I think the jury's still kind of out on how good Barrios really is. With Ramos, you kind of know. So that's why I think it's better for boxing if Barrios wins, because there's still that mystique there of how good is this guy. Now, my final thing, what's my prediction? Who do I think is going to win this fight between Mario Barrios and Abel Ramos? It's tough. I think it's going to be a close fight, but I'm picking Mario Barrios. I am. He's the bigger, younger, and, just overall, I think that is going to play a big role, him being bigger and younger, the 3-inch height, the 2-inch reach advantage, the work rate. I do believe Ramos is a live underdog. If you overlook Abel Ramos, you're making a mistake. He does not get hurt very easily. He stands in there and he chucks, and he's a good fighter. He is. But I think Barrios is going to be in there. Both guys are going to be able to get hit, but I think Barrios, if he uses the size and bust up Abel Ramos, he can do it. But I really think it's going to be a tell of who has the more stamina in the later rounds. That second half of the fight, you're going to see who really, really is built for the distance. And then I think it's going to go the distance, where I think Barrios is going to take a somewhat close unanimous decision. I could see it being split or majority. And I really could see Ramos getting there and pulling off the win as well. So we'll see what happens, but that's it. That's what I got. That's my Barrios versus Ramos breakdown and prediction video, as Mario Barrios will defend his WBC welterweight title at 147 against veteran Abel Ramos on the Netflix undercard of the Mike Tyson-Jake Paul showdown that takes place Friday, November 15th. So I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, smash the like button, leave a comment, or subscribe to the channel. I appreciate any and all support. This is True Boxing, and you've been hit with the truth.